Calling to order the Cuyahoga County Council special meeting for Thursday, December the 28th, 2017. Clerk, please call the roll.
Calling the roll, Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Tuma.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher. Here. Mr. Schrein.
Here.
Ms. Conwell.
Here.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones is absent at the moment. Ms. Brown.
Here.
Mr. Harrison. Mr. Harrison is absent at the moment. Ms. Simon.
Here.
Ms. Baker. Ms. Baker is absent. And Council President Brady.
Here.
There is a quorum.
Okay, could I have a motion to excuse the absence of Councilwoman Baker? I believe she's in Arizona today.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Councilperson is. Under public comment, really, the agenda. I know we've got some people down here, and it's the fact that it's so cold. I'm going to give people an opportunity to come up and have their say before the meeting starts, because we've got some business to take care of, and I'd like to just get it out of the way. So, who's ever's first?
First is Sabrina Otis.
No, we'll take care of you in a minute.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here to discuss some inequalities that are occurring currently with the county when it comes to people who have just everyday issues that are occurring and those that are suffering from opiate addiction. It seems as if this community has embraced assisting those with opiate issues, including relatives that are caring for children. But when families are having issues dealing with lead or mold, it's on the back burner, or this community chooses to ask those families to be involved with Department of Children and Family Services, which is a waste of resource and time. Why would somebody want to be involved with an agency? Because there's black mold and lead that I'm a tenant, so it's not my fault. Only thing I can do is try to find a new location and move. But if we as a community aren't dealing with those particular things, but we can put more time and effort to an addiction that a lot of people choose to get involved with, some don't, but a lot do, it's not fair to families like us who aren't doing anything. We're following the rules, we're paying our bills, we're doing what we're supposed to, and we're caring for our children. My daughter has been sick, I don't know, the whole year. She has severe asthma and allergies and some other health issues, and the mold exasperates it and makes it worse, where she's been admitted 7 times this year, as late as last week. And if there are no resources to help the mold and the lead to be removed from the homes, then what are we doing to our children? They're our future. I don't know if you guys can do anything, but I'm hoping you guys are listening, because if we have time and resources to give to one cause and effect that isn't something that a person can prevent, versus lead and mold is something I'm not an owner, I can't stop it. It's a cause and effect. It can be prevented if someone chooses to do the repair, but tenants in this community and people who live in these homes shouldn't have to suffer, and our children shouldn't have to be pawns for the county to make their Department of Children and Family Services look good. We'll look good because you have a family who doesn't really need their services. You'll look good because you'll be like, oh, we did this for this family. I don't want you to do that to my family. I don't need involvement with county Department of Children and Family Services for lead and mold. What I need is somebody to have stepped up. Prior to bothering you all about this, I discussed to you guys about how hard it is for domestic violence survivors to get any funding. There is none for that, but we have funding to help those who actually are in a situation that they could have prevented. Drug abuse is a serious issue, but it shouldn't be no more top of the line than it is with somebody with lead and mold, somebody with domestic violence. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next is Reverend Pinckney.
I'd like to acknowledge Councilman Harrison that is here, and also that Councilman Jones will not be able to be at the meeting, so I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilman Jones' absence. Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. The Councilman is excused. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Pamela M. Pinckney Butts, and Resolution 245. In the meetings that I go to, not just here, but RTA and some other places, the vague language where you're expressing that you're changing money from one department to another, that does not give the public clarity on how this money really is being spent and where it's going, due to the fact that crime has increased and other elements are still not being resolved. And we want some more language broken down other than we're just passing money from one department to the next and who it's impacting. For Resolution 247, number 1, you're making a proposal, or you're going to pass a law regarding credit cards and the corporate America, and you're also doing it with the other resolutions with Key Bank and corporate America. Not everyone wants to be or is rich, otherwise poor, or middle class. And this resolution needs to be modified to impact all classes of people. Because right now, corporate America is basically overriding and taking over the industry for small businesses and other entities. This resolution, as well as the other resolutions on this assembly today, do not address we victims who are overcoming domestic violence, we victims who are overcoming the racial barriers and the gender barriers that we've been having to face. These resolutions are not doing that. And I'm asking you to go back to the table and don't ignore me anymore, and tell your clerk, don't ever tell anybody that he's letting me speak. Go back to the table. Go back to the drawing board. Because corporate America is not all of America. When you have smaller communities where some people don't want to be rich, don't want a lot of cars, don't want fancy homes, those people matter too. And they should be able to have a line of credit. My credit is personally destroyed as a result of reporting domestic violence, and it's very difficult for me to get back on my feet. And the lady who just spoke a moment ago, she's very accurate. We don't need the invasion of the Department of Children and Family Services in our homes to address our matters. We need you to make sound resolutions. Thank you very much. God bless you, and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Final speaker is Ms. Liu.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Still holiday seasons, and I'm here to thank whole county councils. You have done lots of things this year to help different projects to go through in a reasonable way, especially this transportation issues. And this actually affects everybody in the county. The people who need a job, who try to hold on their job, and who try to even make the best out of their jobs. And this will be a very important thing next year. I hope that we will have a very better future with this transportation issues. If the state and federal are not helping, we have to help ourselves, and this is the right time. As Mr. Brady told us once before, when it's the right time, we have to do the right thing. As to domestic violence, homeless issue, all these things, they are all connected actually, especially this black mold and lead problems. Do you know how many people are in the shelter actually because of that issues? Unfortunately, they have no choices. Even family and job and family service cannot help them because there are other regulations are not really implemented properly or not implemented at all. So please, help all the county residents, and we will have a wonderful 2018. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of the December 12th Committee of the Whole and the December 12th regular meeting?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Minutes are approved. Legislation introduced by the executive, consideration of resolutions for first reading adoption under suspension of rules. Could I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The motion to suspend the rules is passed. All right.
Resolution number 2017-0245, amending the 2016-2017 biennial operating budget for 2017 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations from the general fund and other funding sources for appropriation transfers between budget accounts and for cash transfers between budgetary funds.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
move to substitute with the
Second.
substitute that's on your desk. And, Mr. President, I would like to ask one additional question to the director, if I may.
Certainly.
Director Keenan, I appreciate all the hard work you've done and over the last little stretch getting all this year-end stuff wrapped up and hopefully setting us up for a continued improvement in our audit results. I do have one question about the $3 million appropriation for the juvenile court. My understanding is that this item does not reflect their being over budget, but rather is primarily a matter of that they spent money for items that were carried over from 2016 into 2017 that was not anticipated. And the question I have is that I don't understand why spending the items that are carried over would not be anticipated, because normally I would expect that the items that are carried over were things that occurred late in the previous year, and that those things would generally be wrapped up in the first quarter of the following year, and should have been wrapped up in the first quarter of 2017. So I'm wondering why you didn't anticipate that would happen. Which means that I don't understand something.
Maggie Keenan, Office of Budget Management. As it relates to carryover, that's not entirely accurate that things would be spent in the first quarter of the following year. Agencies have a tendency, they estimate what they need on contracts, particularly in the case of juvenile court. Most of their contracts are for residential treatment. We can't anticipate how many kids are going to come to the court and need to be placed and in what type of setting. So the court has a lot of contracts that it actually decertifies the following year. They overestimate what they need. And from our perspective, we don't want to provide them funding that they're not going to spend. That's what this is. So the court has millions of dollars that they could decertify on prior year contracts. And in this case, we thought they were going to not spend it, and they ended up spending it.
Okay.
Any other questions on this ordinance?
Just a little additional comment. As a whole, the resolution generally provides a lot of closeout and cleanup of grants and appropriation of grants, and also makes the necessary alignments so that all the year-end changes on personnel costs can be factored into the budget. And I ask for the council's approval.
All right. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor of the substitute, say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. The legislation is substituted. All those in favor of the ordinance, say aye.
Aye.
All right. The ordinance is passed as substituted. We got a lot of stuff at the last minute, about 30 minutes ago on this, which gets kind of confusing. Consideration of a resolution for fourth reading adoption. Oh, no, I'm too far ahead. All right.
Resolution number 2017-0246, authorizing an amendment to a master services agreement with KeyBank National Association for various treasury and banking management services for the period 8/24/2013 through 12/31/2017 to extend the time period to 12/31/2018.
Move to adopt. Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2017-0247, authorizing amendments to various contracts in connection with the Master Services Agreement with KeyBank National Association for various program services for the period 5/1/2014 through 12/31/2017 to extend the time period to 12/31/2018 and for additional funds.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Murray, could you explain the nature of this legislation and the one afterwards?
Yes, I can. The $45,000 in question, this is to develop an interface for the county's real property system, the new real property system, and Key Bank, which will allow online banking to continue. The implementation, the vendor that we're using does not use our current online banking vendor, so we needed to develop a solution with Key Bank, with the assumption that Key Bank can continue the service. They have agreed to do so, and this $45,000 is the negotiated price.
Any questions by the council? Councilwoman?
Apologies, I thought we were on item. Which item are we referring to? 3? Yep. So the 45. Where is the $45,000 that?
Letter I on my council resolution.
Yes, I thought we were on item number 3.
We are.
But he's discussing item number 4. So I just want clarification as to where.
Okay, so.
Councilwoman's correct.
Okay, all right, then, I'm sorry, I thought we passed the first resolution. The first resolution, the amounts that you see are to continue our corporate credit card program for duty-related travel, as well as the P cards and the fleet card that is used by Public Works.
All right.
Sorry.
Any further questions?
Yes. Why did these items come so late and have to be passed under first reading suspension?
The items in question, we had to update the amounts needed for each department's needs, as well as legal review.
Councilman,
Through the chair to Mr. Murray, item I under number 3, can you explain a little bit about the duty-related travel?
Yes, that would be for, as an example, Children and Family Services may have travel needs in terms of maybe moving a child into custody. Those costs are picked up as part of duty-related travel. It could be travel for any associations that county agencies are a part of, Treasurers Association. There are mostly that type of expenses. So it's considered duty-related travel, and we have to be able to appropriate the money so that all county agencies that use travel, and these expenses are hitting all different departments.
Okay, but we do not have a new updated travel policy. So could you send the old travel policy? I know our staff has put in some time and effort in actually working on a travel policy for the county.
Okay.
Could you send what your current travel policy is? I'm assuming that these travel-related expenses includes administration or anyone that needs to
That is correct.
travel.
That is correct.
Councilman Shawn.
Well, based on Mr. Miller's asking the question and your response, you're saying that this is the credit card decisions as far as these 3 credit cards has to be done at the 11th hour like this? I assume we've had credit cards. How many years now? It looks like we've had credit cards for a number of years.
Multiple years. It's my understanding, and it's my understanding that the corporate credit card, we needed to have appropriation in place to pay bills in January.
Okay, when would you have known about that?
We've known about that for quite some time while we're working on this particular contract.
So this is going to come up, I can only assume that if I reach my wallet, I've got a credit card and it's got a date expiration on it, I know full well when it's going to expire. So do every one of these cards, I assume.
That's very true. Again, the amounts needed by each agency, we need to do the research in order to know exactly what should be in the contract.
What did we spend last year on these three accounts?
That I do not have in front of me. I can certainly get that for you, Councilman.
Okay, all
You defer to me for a
Sure, I'll
second.
defer to the
Thank
the
you.
chairman.
I think part of what we're obviously experiencing is we're coming in here for a brief meeting because it's absolutely necessary and frankly because the county needs us to, but it's a courtesy to the administration as well. But what's happening is that legislation is not going through a normal process where the council feels comfortable and is as informed as it should be, which is not a complicated matter, but it's just not happening at these end of the year meetings. And it seems like it seems at least like more things keep getting tagged on. I don't know if that's the case or it just seems that way. So we've been trying for a couple of years, I'm sure you know, to try to understand how we can deal with this so we don't have this odd meeting where there is legislation in front of us that needs to be explained, right, and we have to make decisions immediately about it. So I think that's just certainly what we're experiencing. So bear with us. Councilwoman Simon?
Just as a follow-up to that, you indicated this was perhaps at the midnight hour because of a legal review that had to occur?
As well as making sure that we have the proper amounts for each department that uses the travel
How
contract.
long did the legal review take?
Well, I got these documents at the beginning of the month, but we missed the cutoff for an earlier council meeting. So now we're here.
Are you, where does this buck stop? I mean, when you're planning things at the end of the year, because we all came in for emergency, end of the year things, and is there a tickler system? I mean, why isn't there a plan for when you get things into the system so that you can meet the deadlines?
Well, this was not in the plan to be here at this particular hour, Councilman. What I can say is this particular amendment took 3 to 4 departments to actually put together. We're working with the team. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus. I don't believe that's necessary.
Okay.
But what I will say is it took us by the time that the documents were ready, we just missed the deadline for the last meeting.
Yeah, so some of the contracts were for a couple years, 13 to 17,
Yes.
14 to 17, and you're extending this out 1 year.
We are extending this out 1 year because I believe when the contract was initially signed and agreed upon, it was a 4-year contract. Within that particular time frame, we thought that we would be done with our ERP implementation as well as the real property implementation. But because those 2 projects are going to exceed the banking services contract, I didn't think it would be prudent to try and renegotiate a banking contract while we have development going on. So the plan is to extend this contract for 1 year, and then presumably we are, at least our targets are both implementations will be completed within 2018, and then within that time we can come back to council for a full-blown RFP for all the banking services.
Did you have a chance to do a 2-year extension or just the 1?
In this case, I was allowed 1.
You only could do 1-year extension?
Yes, correct.
Just in case it's not done by the end of the year?
I would rather not be back here, Councilman, in a year, but we're going to make every push.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, any other questions on this resolution? If not,
Just a comment.
go ahead.
It doesn't appear as though there's any doubt that this credit card that you're asking for extension is going to expire December 31st of 2018, based on the request.
Correct.
We're going to buy fuel we're going to travel people, and we're going to have procurement. Please don't bring it to us at the same meeting next year. Thank you.
Got it.
Yeah, I think we should all work together to make this as painless as possible, but all the council needs is to be able to understand what's going to be in front of it in a timely way, and I know everybody works to do that, and we'll continue to try to improve what we're doing here. Thank you. All those in favor of the resolution say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2017-0248, making awards on requisition number 27791 to KeyBank National Association in connection with the Master Services Agreement for various services for the period 1/1/2018 through 12/31/2018.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded. I know you spoke about this before. Do you have anything further to say?
Not at this time, Council.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? No. Councilwoman? No? Okay. All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Thank you, Mr. Murray. Happy New Year to you. Everybody's rusty today. Consideration of a resolution for fourth reading adoption.
Resolution number 2017-0210, making an award on requisition number 40216 to Medical Mutual of Ohio in the amount not to exceed $4,210,000 for stop-loss insurance services for county employees and their eligible dependents and Cuyahoga County Benefits Regionalization Program participants, employees, and their eligible dependents for the period 1/1/2018 through 12/31/2018.
Move to adopt. Moved and seconded.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I would like to thank the administration and my colleagues on council for indulging me in an extended discussion around the merits of stop-loss insurance. And there is, given that there is universal agreement that there's 20 to 25% administrative costs baked into stop-loss insurance, which means that that the expectation is that we would get somewhere between $750,000 to $1 million less back on average than we put in. Because of that, this is an area that needs further discussion and careful monitoring going forward, and I think we're all committed to that. However, there is not a critical mass of support from either the administration or the council for making an immediate change in our stop-loss policy. So I recommend passage of this legislation as is, which extends our current stop-loss insurance program for one additional year. Thank you.
I congratulate Councilman Miller to taking a look at this. I mean, anytime insurance is bought, it's a risk and a reward out there. And in this area of self-insurance and self-funding, he's brought the attention and the value possibility of that. My concern is that we have some self-funding programs that are going on here in the county, and I've not been very happy with how those have turned out. So I think we need to get our sea legs and make sure before we go out and take a risk on completely self-funding on a stop loss like this. So I congratulate you on taking a look at it. I would like to make sure we get solid on our self-insured programs on other aspects before we take on this kind of a risk. Thank you.
I appreciate the councilman's comments. Also appreciate the finance chairman's work on this matter. His reasoning seems to me is quite sound, but we have some further discussions, and it was clear that the council and the administration were, as you indicated, not ready to make adjustments at this time, but we do have a year to take a closer look at this and see what we might be able to do, because your reasoning certainly is clear. But I think we feel a little too insecure to support your leadership at this point. Any further comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Is there any miscellaneous business before the council today? Yes, Councilwoman.
I believe my committee will be January 3rd, HHS at 1 o'clock.
All righty. All right. Well, Happy New Year, everybody, and try to get home and stay warm, because I understand it's not going to be warming up anytime soon. Meeting is adjourned.
Good year.